So, you've decided to take a break from your daily grind to watch the greatest show on earth, haven't you? The political circus where clowns don't wear makeup, they wear suits and ties. Ah, the grand spectacle. A place where the jesters don't juggle balls, they juggle words, promises, and occasionally, their own credibility. You see, we are all spectators in this circus, captivated by the high-wire act of politicians who dance on the thin line between truth and fiction. Remember that time when our beloved ringmaster promised to build a road to the moon? Oh, the applause that followed! The moonwalk never happened, of course, but the promise was enough to keep us entertained. And how about the time when the lion tamer, our esteemed minister, roared about taming the beast of corruption? Yet the only thing he seems to have tamed is his fear of getting caught. Now that's a performance worthy of a standing ovation, don't you think? Then there's the magician, who promised to pull prosperity out of a hat, but all we got was a rabbit named Austerity. Quite a trick, eh? But don't worry, he's still in the show. The audience seems to love a good magic act no matter how many times the trick fails. But let's not forget the acrobats, those agile diplomats who flip-flop on their positions faster than you can say controversy. It's a mesmerizing act, watching them twist and turn their way out of every tight spot, and the best part, the circus never leaves town. It's a never-ending show of grand promises, hollow speeches, and scandalous acts. It's a spectacle that keeps us glued to our seats, our eyes wide with disbelief, our hearts filled with hope, and our minds puzzled by the audacity of it all. So, grab your popcorn, sit back, and enjoy the show. Because the circus is not just in town, it is the town. And you, my friend, have got the best seat in the house. Just remember, the circus is in town all year round, and you've got front row seats. You must admit, the performance is mesmerizing, isn't it? The high-wire act of balancing promises with reality, the juggling of facts and fiction, the disappearing acts when accountability comes into play. The grand spectacle of it all. Politicians, those nimble trapeze artists, always manage to evade the net of responsibility, don't they? They leap from promise to promise with such grace, such agility, that we can't help but gasp in awe. Take, for instance, the politician who promised to drain the swamp, only to invite the biggest alligators to the party, or the one who pledged to fight for the middle class, only to give tax breaks to the 1%. They've turned the art of evasion into a performance that deserves a standing ovation. Then we have the jugglers, those master manipulators of narratives. With the media in one hand and public opinion in the other, they keep the balls of fact and fiction in the air so skillfully it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. Remember the politician who told us that climate change was just a hoax, or the one who said that the rich were taxed too much? Their juggling acts are so captivating we barely notice when the truth slips through their fingers and shatters on the ground. But the real stars of our circus are the illusionists, the politicians who can make accountability disappear with a wave of their hand. They've perfected the art of the vanishing act. A scandal here, a controversy there, and poof! They're gone, hidden behind a smokescreen of denials and distractions. And when the smoke clears, they're back on stage, ready to dazzle us with their next trick. Yes, the performance is indeed mesmerizing. It's a never-ending show of political acrobatics, narrative juggling, and disappearing acts. And yet, despite the broken promises, the twisted truths, and the lack of accountability, we keep coming back for more. Because what's a circus without its audience? The show must go on, right? And we, the audience, are always left wanting more. But hey, admission to this spectacular show isn't free. Oh no, you pay with your hard-earned money, your rights, and sometimes your sanity. You might be wondering how exactly you're footing the bill for this grand spectacle. Well, let me tell you, it's not just the tax dollars being siphoned off your paycheck, it's the constant erosion of your civil liberties, the blatant misuse of public funds, and the creation of an environment of fear and uncertainty. Take a look at the politicians playing fast and loose with your hard-earned money. They're out there, buying private jets, embarking on extravagant vacations, and hosting lavish parties, all on your dime. You're basically funding their luxurious lifestyle. How's that for a punchline? Then there's the matter of your rights. Remember those? They're the things that are supposed to protect you from overreach by the government. But every time a new policy is implemented, a new law is passed, or a new regulation is introduced, there's a good chance your rights are getting trampled on. Whether it's your right to privacy, your right to free speech, or your right to a fair trial, they're all up for grabs in this grand circus. And let's not forget about the climate of fear and uncertainty. Politicians are masters at creating this atmosphere. They know that a scared populace is a compliant populace. So they stoke the fires of fear, keep you on your toes, make you feel insecure. And while you're busy worrying about imaginary threats, they're busy consolidating their power, lining their pockets, and laughing all the way to the bank. So next time you're watching the circus, remember this. You're not just a spectator, you're a participant. You're paying for your seat in the form of taxes, lost rights, and a constant state of anxiety. Remember, every ticket to this circus comes with a price, and it's usually more than what's printed on the ticket. So, what's the finale of this grand spectacle? Well, that's entirely up to us, the audience. We've been sitting in these uncomfortable seats for too long, munching on overpriced popcorn as the clowns on stage make a mockery of our lives. But let's not forget, we bought the tickets, we filled the seats. Remember that time in a small town when the townsfolk rallied and ousted the corrupt mayor? Or when the entire nation, fed up with their leaders' incompetence, demanded transparency and actually got it? Those weren't just feel-good stories on the 6 o'clock news, those were real people, just like you and me, deciding they'd had enough of the circus. We have the power to change the performance. We can demand a better show, a better cast. We can vote with our feet and walk out, or better yet, we can vote for competent leaders. The curtain may be closing, but the show's not over. It's just intermission. And remember, the clowns don't run the circus, we do.